Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing fantastic out there, and if you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Thank you for stopping by. If you guys hit the like button, that'd be cool too. Let's get into a little fallout from this awful Week 3 loss. I was rats off a ship on Monday Night Football. The first game, I was watching Buffalo Jacksonville. Perhaps after this, I will go watch Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on the Commanders. My son's into the Bengals now just because that's his flag football team for the upcoming season. Which anytime that happens, I don't know if anybody does the NFL flag football for your kids. You're only kind of praying like, all right, hopefully it's not the Patriots, Jets, or Bills. Like, oh, hopefully that's not the case. So I can live with him being the on the fighting Joe Burros, and we'll figure it on out. Has yet to be the Dolphins. He's been the Ravens, the Seahawks, and now the Bengals upcoming this week. But either way, Buffalo's just absolutely smoking the Jaguars right now. As I speak, 34-3 at halftime, as if you just wanted to twist the knife a little bit deeper into the Miami Dolphins' misery. Of course, the Bills are peacocking their way to a even cleaner division lead. And here are the Miami Dolphins in the midst of misery. The news and notes on them today, the Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and revealed something that was a little bit odd, I thought. I don't know about you guys, but he revealed that Tua, his neurologist appointment got mixed up, and he ends up not being able to do the appointment last week. He never got looked at by a neurologist last week, which is a bit odd. You know, I think it said he was supposed to meet with a neurologist last week, and the schedule got kind of mixed up, and the neurologists were busy. There were some scheduling issues, and they didn't feel a need to do it because he's on IR, and he's not playing for 4 weeks, so there's no rush to do it. And first of all, fine. I don't want to freak out about this. This is not one of those things where it feels almost pointless to get mad at it, but again, I talked about this a little bit on Friday with going into the game when we got the news that he was going to travel and the news that he went to Disney on Ice with Raheem Mostert, which, look, it's your free time, dude. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm not telling Tua that he has to be a hermit and not be a dad. Like, go be, as Mike McDaniel told him, go be the starting quarterback at your family. I don't have an issue with that. My confusion, again, I don't know if you know this, went to Barry University, not for neurology. I'm not a brain doctor, so take my gas bagging for the biggest grain of salt you could find. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just sitting back here intrigued, listening to all this stuff. You kidding me that the guy can't get a neurologist last week? Like, and I don't know. Maybe the Dolphins and the NFL and everybody has like the guy they got to go see. Maybe Tua already has a guy. You know, maybe Tua has a guy that he is dead set. That's the guy he trusts because that's the guy that he saw. I don't know. But I gotta imagine this ain't you. This ain't me. You know, this isn't you. This is me. This is a multi $100+ million quarterback. I gotta imagine that wherever the neurologists are, like, I gotta feel like that guy has to see the quarterback of the Dolphins. And again, my other jumping off point for this that I'm just confused by is, what if the guy said that Tua could play? And we went right to, nah, he has to take the 4 weeks off. Even though everybody says that he's fine, he does not seem in this severe state like the last severe one that happened and the one against the Packers. And everybody's I talked to some of the reporters about this on the pregame show, and they're like, well, the Dolphins are going to get crushed if he gets a concussion again and he gets back on the field and something happens again. And I just bucket that because let me tell you something. Tua could be out until week 10, and he could come back. And if Tua gets another concussion, people are A, going to be mad that he was playing in the first place, B, be mad at the Dolphins for putting him out there. It would happen if it was in 2 weeks. It would happen if it was in 10 weeks. They're going to be mad at the situation no matter what. And everyone is going to be thinking about it no matter what. So just to have this, like, what appears to be a safety blanket of optics is all that. It's just optics. And then to hear that it wasn't in a rush to get done because he's on IR, cool. But what if he would have been seen and the doctors would have been like, you know what, he actually could go very soon, or he could advance in the protocol and be ready in 2 weeks. He could be ready in 3 weeks. He doesn't need IR. I don't know. It was an odd thing to hear today with Schefter. The clip is from the Pat McAfee show if you guys want to see it on social media. Then Adam Schefter, he says the Dolphins need to go and call about their quarterback situation. And he says these are the 3 quarterbacks that make sense for the Miami Dolphins. None of them are going to make you happy. Zach Wilson, of course, failed number 2 pick, now playing for the Denver Broncos. I believe he is third string there. Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. And finally, Dorian Thompson-Robinson from the Cleveland Browns. They, of course, he's their third stringer. They just got Tyler Huntley off the practice squad. They have Jameis Winston. They are kind of stacked at cornerback. And I will say, I have heard from, I've heard some things around the Browns. That dude's obviously very much itching to play. And a lot of people have been impressed by what he can do at times when he gets on the field. They're obviously hamstrung by having Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's getting the snot kicked out of him every single week. He's not been very impressive. And, I think this kid is hoping that he does get his chance, to go out there and show something with an opportunity to go out there. But, with Jameis Winston there, will he? That is one that, I would say intrigues, but I don't think the Browns are going to let him go. I don't think that's I don't think they're going to be rats off a ship on him or part with him for nothing. But I imagine, 2023 5th round pick? He's got to be making the least amount of money out of all these guys. Russell Wilson, the Russell Wilson thing, look, he's a proven vet. Does this galvanize the team at all? Does this put them in a position where they really believe the team is taking a swing? To me, if you sign Russell Wilson, that's almost a sign like, oh, we don't know when Tua's coming back. That's if whenever Tua meets with the neurologist, if they could squeeze him in their schedule, if they're not playing bocce ball or got some pickleball to get to, whatever the neurologist country club is going on, if they could find 15 minutes in their busy schedule to scan Tua's brain, and they say, hey, it is going to be a while. I'm no Russell Wilson fan either, but, if you're talking about experience, he dwarfs these other 2 guys. And look, he's been very clearly outplayed. He had an unfortunate injury situation himself that he's dealing with, but he's not getting that job back. 3-0 start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only reason they would is if they think that Justin Fields is going to turn back into a pumpkin. So, and he may look and be like, let's look for another opportunity. I'm sure that he would not hate living in Miami with Ciara. I'm sure that is one of those things that could possibly make sense for the Wilson family. But, is any Dolphin fan going to be thrilled about that? I don't think so. Though he does, look, he has experience. It's not been good experience lately. It would be certainly a test for Mike McDaniel because it's like, hey, can you get this guy up to speed on your offense? Like, you couldn't do it with a guy who you've had for 3 years. And that's the thing that's interesting, right? Like, you sit here and it's like, cool. We understand that the Miami Dolphins need to fix the quarterback situation. You cannot reasonably hope Tim Boyle is going to do anything for you. And I don't understand why, but everybody seems to be very hesitant on just throwing Tyler Huntley out there. But that is going to be a big question. Like, okay, can Mike McDaniel actually put any kind of spoon-fed, bogged down system together for any QB that comes in here? Or is this all Tua? Is this the thing? Like, it's all just built on Tua, which is kind of crazy. You know, it is kind of crazy to think about. Tua, this was a summer where Tua didn't take all the reps in OTAs. He was in contract negotiations. It was a perfect opportunity for the Miami Dolphins to really hone in and do something. And to think that they botched it like this. Look, I'm guilty of buying into the Kool-Aid. I'll raise my, I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, I said you guys, like, I was like, yeah, I got to believe in Skylar Thompson. 3 years, he's got to be more competent. Has to be, right? Oof. But then again, like, why would I trust that? Why would you trust anything they say anymore? You know, they're all laughing at you because of the offensive line. How could you guys have concerns? What are you concerned about? And the thing that's crazy about it is the Miami Dolphins, if Tua comes back, Mostert, whenever the hell he gets healthy, Bradley Chubb, Odell Beckham, like, they do have semblance of, like, reinforcements, maybe Isaiah Wynn along the way. You use these couple weeks to get Patrick Paul settled in there and see if the kid can play some football for you. But, yeah, these options all stink. The one, I guess, that would be intriguing is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, just kind of like as a wild card factor. But, again, like, I don't know how much faith you can have Mike McDaniel to get it going. The other thing is it seems like Las Vegas is on the verge of making a quarterback switch. So I don't know if you want to make Minshew Mania Finshew Mania, but I do think that's another thing. I think he has a pretty fat contract. I don't know the mechanisms of that, but, you know, he's certainly like a gunslinger, wild card. He's kind of been the plug-and-play guy, has held down the fort. I think Leroy Horde nailed it well. Like 2 weeks into Gardner Minshew's career, he's like, he's going to be the next Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he's spot on about that. By the end of it, Gardner Minshew is going to play for 14 teams and, you know, never really do anything of significance, but he's going to hang around and people will fall in love with him because he's a character and he does, you know, naked armband exercises. But, you know, is that an area that Dolphins could go to? Certainly, of these options, it's one that they could look into. But I think ultimately everyone's just got to be wholly depressed just looking at all of this stuff right now. You know, neurologists, like the Dolphins can't even get Tua to see a doctor in a week's time. It has to be put off a week because the neurologists have a shindig at the country club. Who knows? And these are the quarterbacks that are getting thrown in your face. Just, oof. Hard times, man. Hard times.